This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 7th day of July in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana has recorded 7 new cases of the coronavirus in the past 24 hours, and all of those new cases are from the Region 1 sub-district of Mabaruma. The Ministry of Public Health reported last evening that the country also recorded its 16th death related to the disease on Sunday. Today, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Gordon-Boyle revealed that there are now 143 active cases of coronavirus in Guyana, with 11 of those cases in the COVID-19 intensive care unit.
As of July 7, 2020, of the 37 tests done, there have been 7 new cases coming from Mabaruma Sub-District of Region 1, bringing our total number of positive cases to 284. 125 persons have recovered, but our COVID-19 deaths have now climbed to 16. In institutional isolation, we currently have 143 active cases, 19 persons in institutional quarantine, and 11 persons in the COVID ICU. To date, we have tested 2,926 persons, with 2,642 being negative.
Dr. Boyle said the number of new cases continue to be of concern to the Public Health Ministry, as those numbers climb steadily in 4 of the 10 regions.
The number of positive cases continues to be a source of grave concern for the Ministry of Public Health. Over the past week, we have recorded another 25 new cases distributed in regions 1, 3, 4, and 7, with 4 COVID-related deaths.
And the Deputy Chief Medical Officer once again reminded persons that recovering from the coronavirus may not mean that all of their troubles are over, as there have been cases of persons suffering from long-term ailments because of the effect of the virus on their bodies.
Are we really serious about returning to normalcy when we openly flout all the guidelines that have been outlined for our protection? Are we saying that we are uncaring about our life and those of others around us? Where has our appreciation for life disappeared to? It is unfair to our healthcare workers, 10 of whom have become ill and have had to battle for their lives with COVID-19. And you know what, this was totally unnecessary, but for your carelessness. I am pleading with you again to consider your actions and envisage that your life could drastically change and end in fatality.
The majority of the current COVID-19 cases in Guyana are from Region 1. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hello, boys and girls. As you prepare to write your exams, there are a few things you will have to do each day so that you and those around you can be safe and healthy. Please remember, on the day of your exam, you must wear a mask correctly, covering your mouth and nose before entering the school compound. Wash your hands with soap and water at the entrance of the school at the sink provided for 20 seconds. Paying attention to the palm and back of your hands, between your fingers and their tips. Dry your hands with a clean tissue and dispose in the closed bin nearby. Boys and girls, your temperature will be tested by an official. Then you will go to the designated waiting area with the floor signs and markings clearly visible, standing or sitting 2 meters or 6 feet apart at all times. It is now time to start your exam. The invigilator will direct you to the examination room. All the best. Boys and girls, playing and gathering are not allowed. Parents, the Ministry of Education thanks you for the support you have given the children during the time at home. However, in the interest of everyone's well-being, you will not be allowed to enter the school compound. Parents and guardians, we are counting on your support in picking up the children promptly after their exam. Remember, the Ministry of Education will provide transport for children who are living far away that require that assistance. Please be reminded that vending outside the school's compound is prohibited. Only authorized canteen vendors with a copy of their food handler certificate and wearing a mask, food gloves, apron, hairnet, and a hat will be allowed. Always remember to wear your mask correctly, wash your hands, and stay safe. And let's win the fight against COVID-19. A message from the Ministry of Education.
We all want to stay in touch, right? Now, even more than ever before. So to keep your connection strong, GTT is going 2 for 2. Combine GTT mobile and home internet services and we'll give you 2 gigs of free mobile data each month. With 2 GTT services, you're fully connected at home and on the go. Visit us online at gtt.co.gy/2for2 to learn more and start doing more with 2 for 2 from GTT. Stay safe, stay strong, Guyana. We're in this together.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Hi Guyana, it's your boy Kimo Paul here. Reminding you to stay at least 1 meter away from persons or 3 feet to avoid contracting the flu or the COVID-19. It is also important that we stay at home and to avoid gatherings of more than 5 persons. We must all play our part, so let's protect ourselves and our families from COVID-19. We must all play our part. The Ministry of Public Health cannot do this alone, so let's all come together and fight this virus.
For further information, check our website www.health.gov.gy or visit the Ministry's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter page.
Welcome back. In a statement last evening, the Public Health Ministry revealed that a 76-year-old woman from the east coast of Demerara became the country's 16th coronavirus-related death. She was admitted to the Georgetown Hospital on Sunday after collapsing on her stairs a few days earlier. The woman had a known heart condition and died as she was being treated. The COVID-19 test was reportedly done after she died. Upset family members said they were never told about the test and found out that their mother's death was listed as coronavirus-related when a press release was issued to the media last evening. That press release came from the Ministry of Public Health through the National COVID-19 Task Force. Up to late last night, the family members complained that no one from the Health Ministry or the Georgetown Hospital contacted them. However, they were contacted today. The Public Health Ministry has said the name of the victim should not have been released before the family was notified. Well, close to 24 residents from the Muruka village in Region 1 staged a picketing exercise this morning to make known their disapproval of a decision by the government to lock down the Region 1 communities as the cases of the coronavirus skyrocket there. Some of the protesting residents doubted the existence of coronavirus in their community but still wore a face mask and stood 6 feet apart during their protests. One resident claimed that he was tested positive for the virus, yet his wife, who he lived with, tested negative, and he believes that points to the virus being a hoax. Others were more concerned about the lockdown of the communities in Region 1, especially in Santa Mission. They said they believe any lockdown measure should be supported with financial and other support for the residents. Many of the residents who are farmers were concerned that they would not be able to access their farms during the 4-week lockdown, and that could have a devastating impact on their livelihoods. The Public Health Ministry locked down the communities yesterday, and the lockdown is expected to stay in effect for the next 4 weeks. As part of the lockdown, there will be widespread testing in the communities. A Ministry of Public Health team will be moving into the communities to conduct the tests. Region 1 has more than 50% of the current active cases of the coronavirus in Guyana. Officials in the region have complained in the past weeks that many residents have been ignoring the health and safety guidelines, even as the numbers were climbing. While 3 Guyanese nationals, including the driver of a minibus, were arrested after they attempted to smuggle 9 Brazilian nationals over to Guyana using an illegal crossing in the Region 9 area that borders Brazil. The police force said the arrest was made after investigators in the area were alerted to the plan. At the illegal crossing in Takatu, the driver and 2 Lethem residents were caught red-handed packing the minibus with the Brazilian nationals. The driver, who is also from Lethem, said he was hired by the other 2 Guyanese to transport the Brazilians to Georgetown. The 3 Guyanese were immediately arrested while the Brazilians were escorted to their side of the border and handed over to Brazilian police. Guyana has closed off its border with Brazil and has been monitoring illegal crossings in the Lethem community, fearing the spread of the coronavirus. Lethem has recorded 5 cases of the coronavirus so far. Those persons were placed in isolation in the area. 2 of them are children who lived in Brazil but had crossed over to prepare for examinations. Brazil has recorded over 1.6 million cases of the coronavirus, with more than 65,000 deaths. Let's tell you now that low-cost Canadian airline WestJet is to operate flights to Guyana this week to ferry home Guyanese nationals who have been stranded in Canada over the past 4 months. News source understands that more than 150 Guyanese nationals are stranded in Canada and have been waiting on the opportunity to come home. Just like those who are stranded in the US and the Caribbean, the citizens will have to provide a recent negative COVID-19 PCR test to be allowed to come home at this time. Once in Guyana, they will be allowed to home quarantine for 7 days. The Public Health Ministry is reminding nationals that they need to provide accurate information about their contact details in Guyana, and regular checks will be made with them during their home quarantine. Application forms for their repatriation are available on the Foreign Affairs Ministry website. Since Guyana started allowing the repatriation flights a few weeks ago, more than 1,000 Guyanese nationals have returned home. Turning now to the world of politics, APNU AFC candidate and political scientist Aubrey Norton believes the Caribbean Court of Justice must recognize its limitations on the current Guyana election case before it and not go outside its realm to establish jurisdiction that he is convinced it does not have. Appearing on a Trinidad and Tobago television morning show, Mr. Norton explained that when it comes to jurisdiction to address the election matter before it, it has been made clear that the Caribbean Court of Justice lacks jurisdiction, and it is the Guyana Court of Appeal that has the final say, according to the laws of Guyana. Questioned about whether he believes if the court rules that it has jurisdiction, that could result in a constitutional crisis for Guyana, Mr. Norton said the crisis would be for the CCJ.
All and sundry that are on the side of law will know full well that they had no jurisdiction, and if they do that, they are threatening the existence of the CCJ, because others will conclude if the law is clear and you had no jurisdiction and you overreach, then they wouldn't want to become part. In Trinidad, where you live, you know there are reservations about joining the CCJ because people in Trinidad understand the dynamics of the Caribbean and how people relate to each other and how these matters could be influenced. I believe the CCJ will serve itself good if it abide by the law, operate based on the law, uphold the rule of law, and establish the fact that the law says they have no jurisdiction. I see no crisis for Guyana. I see a crisis for the CCJ.
The APNU AFC candidate also spoke about the recount order and said based on that order, which is law, the recount did not end with the tabulation of votes. He said the parties agreed to a 4-stage process, including one that examined the quality and not just the quantity of votes.
I want to clarify for the people of the Caribbean what the People's Progressive Party and some people in the Caribbean community did was to break the order and run off talking about their one based on tabulation of votes rather than the complete process of 1, tabulation, 2, analysis, 3, the submission of the report, and then 4, the declaration.
The Caribbean Court of Justice will announce its decision tomorrow on the case taken before it by the People's Progressive Party, which wants the court to overturn and throw out the decision of the Guyana Court of Appeal that the words "more votes than" means more valid votes in the Guyana Constitution. The APNU AFC has said it remains confident of victory, as only the valid votes should be considered to come up with the results for the elections. The People's Progressive Party believes that the tabulated votes are the votes that should be used towards the final declaration. The Citizenship Initiative political party has announced that it has asked its co-founder Ruel Johnson to step back from active duties with the party following allegations of verbal, physical, and sexual abuse made against him. Johnson, who currently serves as an editor for Kaitro News and is a former government cultural advisor, has been denying the serious allegations that have been made against him by two of his ex-girlfriends. In a statement, TCI said multiple posts about the alleged acts of violence, sexual and verbal abuse were brought to its attention, and the party said it takes the allegations seriously, triggering its decision to ask Johnson to step back from active duties with the party while the allegations are being probed. In an explosive post on Facebook, one of Johnson's ex-girlfriends detailed her relationship with him, which started off as a friendship while she was 16 and he was 32. According to the young woman, who is now in her 20s, the relationship with Johnson lasted for about 4 years, until she was 20. She said during those years she was subjected to verbal, emotional, and mental abuse, and the alleged abuse also became physical. In response to the post, Johnson wrote on Facebook that the young woman's accusations and recollection of their relationship was deliberately short on specifics and a great deal of glossing over of facts, according to him. He also added that over the years, the two would occasionally re-engage until they entered a full and open relationship, as she highlighted. He said that relationship was toxic, with a lot of fighting and gaslighting. He described his accuser's account as a very clever mixture of truth and deliberate lies. But within the space of hours, another ex-girlfriend of Johnson appeared with a post of her own on social media. The young woman, who is a German national who once lived in Guyana, says she believes the account of Johnson's first accuser, and that she too had faced verbal and emotional abuse from him. Johnson has not responded to the claims of his second accuser. News source understands that both women had previously confided in their friends about the alleged abuse they faced during their relationship with Johnson. Johnson has reportedly sought legal advice on the matter and the accusations against him. The Ethnic Relations Commission is calling for peace and responsible behavior by all Guyanese as the nation awaits the final declaration of the 2nd of March general and regional elections. In a statement, the ERC said it intends to write to the leaders of all political parties, urging them and their constituents to work together, de-escalating tensions and adherence to law and order. According to the Ethnic Relations Commission, there is no doubt that the historically long period it has taken for the declaration to be made has exacerbated tensions and discontent, while fostering ethnic strife, especially on social media platforms. As Guyana awaits a decision of the Caribbean Court of Justice that will likely lead to a final declaration being made by the Elections Commission, the ERC said there can be no option to peace and unity, and citizens need to therefore work together to move forward. On the police blotter, police investigators are probing the murder of a Sophia horse cart owner. 37-year-old Andre Easton was shot dead this morning as he tended to his horse at Beefield, Sophia. He was reportedly shot by a homeowner in the same area, who had objected to the man tying the horse to graze close to his home. Persons in the area said the two men got into an argument first on Monday, but the horse cart owner ignored the man's threats. When he returned this morning with his horse to graze, the two got into an argument again, but this time the homeowner whipped out a firearm and shot Easton dead. Easton's widow said she was at home when she received a call about the incident. She said she and her reputed husband only recently welcomed their new baby into the world, and that baby will now have to grow up without a father.
And he come to feed his horse. Well, yesterday a boy pull a gun pony till he got move the horse from in front of the place. And then he come to feed the horse this morning, the man shoot it, so I hear I in the house feeding my child, and they call me and tell me that we dead, so I don't know. I can't say. I'm up on the road now.
The Guyana police force is still probing the incident this evening. The suspect has been arrested. As the Guyana police force continues its efforts to weed out the drug trade in Guyana, more raids and destruction of marijuana farms are being done. On Monday, a police narcotics eradication exercise was conducted at Bartica village in the Berbice River. The party of policemen found a 2.5-acre marijuana farm with thousands of marijuana plants. Over 11,000 marijuana plants were found and completely destroyed by fire, along with a camp that was located at the farm. The police force said the destroyed marijuana would have carried a street value of more than 20 million Guyana dollars. Many of the plants ranged in height from 2 feet to 7 feet. No arrest was made as no one was found at the location. The investigation into the latest marijuana bust is ongoing tonight. Across the Region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda Gaston Brown says the financially strapped airline Liat should not become a prey for no rinky-dinky airline, as he continued to press for Caribbean governments to rethink their position regarding the liquidation of the airline. Last week, the major shareholders for Liat, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines announced plans for the liquidation of the Antigua-based airline. But Antigua has publicly opposed the move, saying that the airline, despite its financial problems, should be remodeled and recapitalized. The Prime Minister of Antigua has already indicated that he has asked his country's registrar of companies to reserve the name Liat 2020 for the new initiative. He said 20 million Eastern Caribbean dollars had been already secured in a bid to get the new company off the ground. Across in Trinidad and Tobago, the government there says it has no plans to rush towards reopening the borders of the country, which have been closed since March in a bid to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Opposition parties have been calling on the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, to indicate whether the borders would remain closed ahead of the August 10 general elections. But at a press conference, the Minister of Health and the Minister of National Security said that the closure of the borders had nothing to do with any pending elections. They told reporters that until the world gets a handle on the spread of the coronavirus, it is not prudent for Trinidad and Tobago to reopen its borders. And finally tonight, international news. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has tested positive for the coronavirus. He took the test his fourth on Monday after developing symptoms, including a high temperature. Mr. Bolsonaro has repeatedly played down the risk of what he called the little flu, saying he would not be seriously affected. He has opposed lockdowns, which he says hurt the economy. Brazil has the second highest number of COVID-19 cases and deaths in the world, after the US. He made the announcement about his diagnosis in a TV interview earlier today, saying the fever he had been experiencing had gone down and that he felt very well. Mr. Bolsonaro said he had started experiencing symptoms on Sunday, and he had a high temperature, a cough, and felt unwell at the time. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.